Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, the weather just cooling more and more. As you can see, I don't know if you can tell, that's fog. I've got a dense fog advisory out for tonight, and it's already starting to settle in. There's a piece of me, a part of me, that kind of likes this weather. There's a coziness to it. Maybe it's the Scottish in me, that kind of likes the foggy, damp coolness to excuse to warm yourself inside around the fireplace or something like that. I don't know, but there's a part of it that I kind of like. I want to go off onto some conspiracy theory, maybe. Assumptions. Assumptions are dangerous. They're the mother of all big mess ups. But we also kind of can see where things are going by just looking at what history has done, looking at kind of the direction things are going, and start to kind of get a feel for where things might head. I mean, that's what being an analyst really is, and that's what we're trying to do, is trying to analyze what's going on so that we can have a little bit of an edge, be a little bit more prepared. And when you see all of this shutting down of stuff, firing of government employees, cutting massive funding to things, as good as it may seem, and no, I'm not trying to find the negative in it. I'm just trying to see the reality of it. It's making a lot of people upset. More and more. It's really building. I think that there's definitely some shock value to it, that a lot of people are just in shock. A lot of people on the left are in shock. And it seems like I've noticed in the last 24 hours, it's starting to settle in of what's actually happening. Massive cutbacks. U.S. aid, cutback. Politico. Did you hear that? Politico, the news agency, was getting like $7-8 million from U.S. aid. I think Disney Plus, that Netflix kind of type of viewing thing, never had it before. You know what Disney Plus is. You can watch Disney movies and all kinds of other trash. I guess they had 700,000 subscriptions that was paid for by USAID. I don't know. I'm not sure. There's a lot going on. They have offered, the government, the Trump administration, has offered a buyout for everyone in the CIA, meaning that everyone in the CIA could potentially lose their job. Agency and department after another, we're hearing every day, thousands of people quitting, getting fired, here's your severance package, get out of here. Now, I know that both you and I see a lot of good in this, right? That smaller government is better. A lot of these people were, had a political agenda, the far left, all this kind of stuff. I get it. Yes, it's good. I'm not complaining about that. But what we have to be doing is seeing that there is a possibility of a big pushback, a big rubber band effect. And the bigger and the more cuts and the more of all this that goes on with the Trump administration, the bigger the springback is going to be. And my question is, will we see martial law under Donald Trump's administration? And I know that a lot of you, even the ones that aren't like the ardent Donald Trump supporters, are going to be saying, of course not. What are you talking about? This guy's lost his mind. He's just that Trump derangement syndrome. It's not what it is. Let me explain myself before you pop too many fuses. This continues to go the way it's going, and then the left, the globalists or whatever, the people, they just of the other side, had enough, and they push back really hard. I mean, because they feel like they're in a corner, like they have no other choices. You've got the CIA potentially all being washed out. You've got a whole bunch of the FBI gone. All of this aid, all of these NGOs losing their funding. A lot of people are going to be out of work. Illegals getting kicked out. going in and taking over the Gaza Strip and kicking all the Palestinians out, taking over Greenland, whether by force or by financial, to telling Canada that you're part of us and we're going to take you over. We're going to take over Mexico. We're going to take over Panama. All of this stuff, whether it's happening or not, or will happen, it's being talked about pretty aggressively. And at some point, if there is enough of a pushback, it could cause things to break down pretty quickly. And that movie that came out last year or whatever, Civil War, something like that could potentially happen. I mean, maybe not quite that extreme, but it could potentially happen. And because of the pushback, we could possibly see a martial law declaration of some sort, some type of emergency declaration. I would not put it past Trump. Based on what happened during his last presidency with the BLM riots and all that kind of stuff, I think that he would do things very differently, and I think he could. And you might say, yeah, well, if the left is rioting and fighting and stuff, then it's a good thing. Well, it's possible, but it could also have some pretty negative effects, and don't think that it would not affect you also. You could see digital identification, biometric IDs implemented. There's all kinds of kind of dark things that could slip through the door with something like that. And I think that while I see some good in all of this, we have to be prepared for the pushback. And that's what I've been telling you. As much as I get hate in the comments, it's not because I'm complaining necessarily that a lot of these things are happening. It's that I'm warning you, these things are extreme, never before seen in American history. They're very extreme. They may be good, but they're still extreme. And we have to be prepared for the eventual pushback. And it could be quite great. There could be violence in the streets, and there could be martial law declarations. There could be all kinds of stuff. And the more we see of this shutdown, of this cutback, of this radical change, no matter how good it is, more and more we see of it, you need to be realizing that it's pushing us closer and closer to that springboard moment where the left just has enough. They've already, it was either today or yesterday, presented with articles of impeachment. Now, of course, they're not going to go anywhere. But there's already been articles of impeachment filed in Congress against Donald Trump. There was some rep, I don't know who, was speaking out, saying some very violent things, encouraging people. There's actually been a few in some cities, some of these, Chicago and places where they're trying to round up immigrants or illegals. They're calling for violence in the streets. Today, the new Attorney General, Pam Bodie or whatever, she just got, sworn in, I guess, today. One of her first orders of business was to cut funding. Federal funding was cut to all sanctuary cities. These are, in a lot of ways, these are kind of like declarations of war. I mean, these are things that civil wars are started on. And I'm not saying that it's 100% wrong. And I'm not saying that, we don't need a civil war. I've been one of the ones advocating for years, saying that it's at that point. And I kind of think the more and more I watch all this stuff happening, that's what we're watching is the starting points of civil war. As much as, because here's the thing, it's kind of flipped around. For years, it was the far left attacking on the right. And all of us were saying, at what point are we going to stand up and fight back and have civil war and revolution and rah, rah, rah. It was never going to happen that way. As much as the conservative right are the gun owners, are the rougher, tougher, more masculine kind of thing, more military service stuff, we're also extremely patriotic. And the idea of us taking up arms against our fellow American citizens, whether they're against us or not in our own country, I think it was just absolutely foreign. Most patriotic Americans couldn't and wouldn't do that. If it was a foreign invasion, absolutely. But now the left, I don't think they think that way. I don't think they would have a problem at all. And the more that we are seeing this, you know, every possible far left thing, socialist program, welfare program, everything is being cut. Everything. It's massive. It's huge. It's huge. You need to get ready. Better be stocking up on ammo. Better be stocking up on food. You better be planning and preparing to produce as much food as you can. Come up with all the ways that you need to be self-sufficient. Band together with others. Get out of these horrible liberal cities. I'd say that they're going to become more and more and more dangerous. Areas that are more liberal than conservative, it's going to be more and more dangerous for conservative people. Because if this trend continues, no matter how good it may be, the pushback is going to be bigger and bigger and bigger. And yeah, we could see civil war. We could see martial law. We could very much see all those things. Maybe this is how it's going to happen, not the other way. So get ready, folks. You may not necessarily agree with the things that I say, but I have a feeling you may be hard-pressed to argue against it, this video. Anyways, get ready, stocked up, keep your powder dry, because it may be closer than you think. Thank you all for watching. Catch you in the next video.